Donkey Crew have just released Season 2 of Last Oasis, and there's a lot to get through here, so without further ado, I'm Zensai, and let's get to it. I'll also be leaving timestamps in the description below, to make it easier for you to find the information you want. Now let's get started. One of the questions we've been asked is, how are you feeling about the current state of the game? Do you think it's creating meaningful gameplay? This felt like a great topic to address, especially ahead of Wipe and the start of Season 2. From the desk of the one and only Chads, within the next season about to start, I thought it would be a great moment to talk about how we see things, and what we learnt from them. If you're not interested in that, skip straight to Season 2, I'll have in the description below. What we learned from Season 1. Let's get that settled right away. A lot of things in the first season didn't go as we expected they would. Many balance mechanics either didn't work or backfired altogether. We wanted to create a survival game in which PvP can be enjoyed by solos, small groups and large communities alike. Storing your belongings off map, a territory system that encouraged player-driven protection of nomads, a base that you take with you anywhere you go, and many more. We thought it surely would make the game quite enjoyable for any playstyle. Well, it didn't. I could fill dozens of pages with our analysis, but I think it would be better to jump straight to some of the big conclusions. Clan member numbers exponentially increase the power of a group. While this is expected and unavoidable to some degree, we accidentally made it much worse. The feature to respawn on different tiles was originally intended to let everyone play together more easily. Clans used it as a tactical tool. The community fittingly calls this clown carring. You will see a walker only manned by a skeleton crew, and within an instant an army spawns on the deck. Many of the new changes make the gameplay more local and intimate, with actual travel being important again. No more clown carring. Solos and small groups didn't have the necessary tools to defend themselves. Last Oasis relied way too much on its inherent mechanics to give players a safety net, without giving players the proper means to make themselves safe, and many of these didn't work out. For Season 2, a lot of content was added to bridge that gap, while also shifting more towards a base-driven gameplay that gives everyone a safe spot to rest. Large clans bottleneck the progression of small groups. For many solos, tablets become an impossible bottleneck. Large clans potentially had the monopoly on it. In Season 2, trading is now a viable alternative to experience the game fully, no matter if solo or as a clan. The grind. Season 2 is addressing that in many ways. Tools give substantially more resources, walkers are quicker to build, commerce allows unlocking the tech tree faster, and many more changes to speed things up overall. There is no denying that the last season did not manage to be good enough for many players, and players leaving is the most honest feedback we can get as developers. Last Oasis doesn't need tweaks, it needs a complete overhaul and radical changes. So we got our hands dirty, and here we are with the result, Season 2. What we changed for Season 2. For a full list of changes, see the changelog in the end. In here, I will go through some of the most game-changing ones. I'll leave a timestamp in the description below where you can go straight to the changelog. Bind spawn to walker. You need to pick a walker beforehand and can only spawn on that walker until you select another one. This stops clown cars and allows players to estimate the strength of an enemy. Travelling to another tile will now involve actually travelling with your walker instead of teleporting around. For clans, this means the size of their territory will become more and more complex to handle the larger it becomes. Found a walker and bases. The Slur and the Balang are the two new walkers that fundamentally change the gameplay. Both have the capacity to deploy into stone bases with a solid armor. This armor is incredibly hard to crack, making sure that any raider needs to carefully consider which target to attack. A balance known to work from other survival games that we felt would fit in Last Oasis as well. The intention here is to move the gameplay away from the edge of the map into the center where things are actually interesting, which is reinforced by disabling crafting in the desert logout zone and spawn protection bubble. You will encounter a lot of bases and other players' structures on the map, and you are no longer forced to take all your belongings to the lobby at the end of the day, making keeping them on a map a viable alternative. Walker damage. At the same time, we allowed any ranged weapons to damage walkers, and make walkers easier to build by increasing the yield of tools. The gameplay will be more focused around a safe home base, while having walkers that are more expandable than before. Losing a walker will always be painful, but now you have a base in the middle of the map to fall back to and get back on your feet quickly. Performance improvements. A lot of effort went into improving performance, and it should be noticeably better in Season 2. This is an ongoing process, and we will improve things constantly as we become aware of issues. Burner time increased. The time until an Oasis burns up has increased heavily, as consistently having to move became frustrating for many players. With a slower burn time, you have more time to settle, learn your neighbours in the map, and feel like having a home. And once the time has come, the Founder Walker allows you to pick up your base and move it to new Oasis. Maintenance costs. To help with performance and certain exploits, we've added daily maintenance costs to bases. Each base consumes resources based on its size, or starts decaying if not maintained. This will drastically reduce throwaway base spam and allow different tactics to come into play. Trading, commerce and flots. The commerce update completely overhauled the in-game economy. Not only are flots now highly valuable, they remain valuable throughout the game. You can use them to unlock technology, and you can either earn them through quests or by smartly trading with other players. Furthermore, clans will always be in demand of flots, either by buying proxy licenses or for using it to reserve slots for clan fights. This will allow every player to buy research tablets or other items and then sell those resources that are in high demand by clans for profit. Being a merchant is now an actual viable playstyle. Clan cap. Judging by the non-stop community discussion ever since it was announced, the added hard clan cap of 50 is the most controversial addition to Season 2. Our goal with the clan cap is to stop the need to endlessly merge. Over time, more and more clans merge together because the exponential gains of doing so were so immense. We think that this change allows for a more diverse clan ecosystem and more fair fights. We are, of course, aware that large clans can still split into sister clans, but it comes with an additional organisational overhead, and shared access to resources is very limited. Season 2 will help us in gathering more data and feedback to see where we take it all from here. To the clan screaming bloody murder, we love you and appreciate your feedback, but we will stick to it for Season 2, because we want to see the impact for ourselves before changing it again. Proxy changes. Proxy walkers are now more expensive, have more health, and have an attack window of 3 hours compared to the previous one. These changes together with the changes to spawning will make it more difficult to hold multiple clans at the same time, and we think it will lead to a more diverse global territory map. We will see how it works out during the season and consider adjustments for Season 3. Wide range of new weapons and tools. There's a whole lot of new structures to build, and many of them synergize with new or existing mechanics. Shake up the established meta, and I encourage you all to be creative and use them to their fullest potential. Removal of visibility of quality. This suggestion came from the community, and we thought it was an obvious good idea. Enemies can no longer see the quality of your walker and structures you are in. Therefore, no longer painting a target on your back by improving them. Furthermore, destroyed structures no longer give resources back, reducing the incentive to fully destroy enemy walkers. Quality of life improvements. This is an ongoing process, but many QOL improvements were made as well. For example, increased chest sizes, improvements to the join queue holding, renaming structures, and many other small things have been done. As always, please keep bringing in your suggestions. Does that mean that everything is perfect now? No. We are not naive enough to expect everything to be flawless at this point. There will be some balancing issues, but we need to see them pan out before we can address them. A PvP game like ours will always be a ping-pong between players coming up with new metas, tactics, and borderline exploits, and us trying to find a balance between all of it. I hope Season 2 shows us that we are committed, we take your feedback seriously, and we are not afraid to change things until the game is what you deserve. What to expect in the future? Our plans at this point are to focus much more on the PvE experience, new and additional content, and in particular, endgame content. On the technical side, performance and privately self-hold servers remain big things on our to-do list. However, an early access game is a living, breathing thing. We read every bit of feedback we can get our hands on and take it into account. And while we can't implement all suggestions, we try to look at the meaning of them. What it is that our players want. We don't claim to always get everything right, but we are not afraid to make big changes if some of our ideas didn't work out. We have a vision of where we want the game to go in the next few years, both during and after early access. But we need your feedback and input to get it right. So please, keep the feedback coming. Alright guys, now to the changelog. So with the commerce we have added flots withdrawals / depositing at trade stations, added wandering merchants with unique trade orders, moved permanent trading orders to wandering merchants, added flotilla quests to trade stations, added flotilla auctions to trade stations, added listing tax when placing an order, and sales tax when succeeding in selling an item, added biding and reserved slots for any tile, added clan bank used for biding on slots, Added global slot vault to claim acquired money from any trade station. Trade orders migrate automatically when the map burns. All trade orders which migrate to another trade station when a map burns will now have a lower price. Added flot drops from loot sites. All items in the game can now be bought and sold at trade stations by players, including grappling hooks, tablets, etc. Made world maps show best prices for trading. Moved quick selling from trade stations. Made trade station menus clearer. Added a dueling area to all trade stations. Initial implementation, it will be vastly improved in the future. Trade stations protection will now refresh after every meaningful action, such as trading, interacting with vault, auctions, etc. Walkers. Added Slur Walker, allowing packing of solid bases. Added Belang Walker. Low tier Founder Walker allows packing of small solid bases. Added Hercule Walker. Torque, now in industrious amounts. Made Walker robust, damageable by anything except melee. Added armoured and heavy legs for Buffalo and Hornet. Added armoured legs for Stiletto. Forbid building wings and legs if they're blocked by hanging structures, gun pods, etc. Overhauled Walker repair system to encourage repairs out of combat. Made it possible to only spawn on one selected crew walker. Added logging out enemy walkers to prevent griefing with cheap walkers. Increased max walker crafting level cap to 20. Made walker crafting level price increase quicker. Travelling with a walker will automatically assign all crew on board to the walker crew. Oasis. Added ancient event maps. Unique merchants, new loot sites, new rupee camps, and new everything. Added flots required and cooldown for teleporting to other tiles. Added 15-minute penalty spawning on beds and walkers after teleport. Redeployment from event maps is now free to avoid players being stuck in them. Added an option to spawn in off-lap mobbing. Added an option to redeploy off the off-map lobby. No more getting stuck in the queue. Clans. Added a hard clan cap of 50. Attack window for Acclaim Oasis is now 3 hours. Buffed Proxy Walker health, increased ammo capacity for Remote Ballista to 20, increased yield of high tier tools, lowered cluster bomb radius and increased weight, decreased effectiveness of improvised explosives, such as No Madness Bomb, buffed catapult and small boulder damage by 50%, made combat timer dynamic based on damage. All weapons except Beat Stick can now damage soft armor. All non-base structures with no previous armor rating will now have soft armor. Walkers can now have their own weight, which impacts walkers they stand on. Increase Rupee Turret activation time from 15 to 180 seconds. Made it possible to only have one sand bed per player. Added Hardened Hellfire Bolt. It has soft armor and burns 3 times faster. Increase damage to walkers from all projectiles from 5% to 10%. Reduce lava damage to walkers. Increase HP of Hullbreaker bolts. Increase torque backpack capacity to 3000. Buff scatter shot, improving aiming, penetration increased, buffed amount of pellets, brakes, grapple hook tethers on hit, and much more. Increase stack size of multiple and high tier chests. Increase water storage size of beds. Increase redeploy cooldown to 12 hours. Increased redeploy cost to 500 flots. Removed spawning close to death location. Made defense tower constructions decay if not built. Rebalance cost of ceramic walker upgrades. Forbid crafting in trade station areas. Forbid crafting in travel zones and protection bubbles. Buffed javelin. Removed grappling hook stun mechanic. All equipment in the game now has durability except for grappling hooks. Modules have been rebalanced. Some which didn't see much use during the first season will now be usable. Lowered effectiveness of ground ballista meta. Harpoons shot from a ballista on the ground will have a less durable tether. Reduced wingsuit tech cost from 50 to 20. Increased max from life force modules from 20 to 50. Made mobility stat increase in costs at high levels. Made rupee camps respawn slower after looting. Tutorial and first steps. Updated tutorial and first steps. Improved some tutorial steps. Missing text, improper description, etc. Structures and bases. Buffed clay and ceramic bases. Rebalanced clay and ceramic structure costs. Added stone bases. Made ammo chests get disabled when netted. Made saw require torque to operate. Added a battle fan. Added small and large base walker packers. Bases will now decay if they do not have maintenance. Added maintenance chests for bases. Large stack size for all your maintenance needs. Improved base combat timer to avoid in-game building abuse. Added structure renaming. Added moving / packing mechanic to the maintenance box. Doors will now unlock at 50% HP. Unlocked doors can now be kicked open. Items. Allowed to be unequipped grappling hooks. Buffed obsidian flask capacity. Added new infused obsidian flask. Interface. Added confirmation to reason selection at the start of game. Restructured walker tech tree. Creatures. Improved and adjusted killing behavior all around. Added killing nests as killing spawn points. Several fixes and improvements to Ner behavior. Several fixes and improvements to Akam behavior. Points of interest. Pyramid POIs will now appear in maps correctly. Fixes and improvements. Improved performance across the board. Vitamin requirements inconsistency for high tier tech. Quarry issues after server restart. Various issues with opening and closing wingsuits. Being able to build walker constructs and walkers. Issue with Hornet walker wings. A bunch of VoIP issues. Being able to abuse foundations built on different heights. All kinds of issues with calculating weight. Players and exoskeletons stand on saw blades. Saw blades having enormous containers for some reason. Torque windmill having two large collisions. Net thrower aimer and camera. Small walkers sending players to space. Walker camera going through walls. Quest packages being tradable. Canyon mushrooms eating loot dropped on them. Lakes eating loot dropped on them. Sometimes not being able to sell items to merchants. Exploit with Reaper clamps clearing quest. Ner leaping forward behavior. Not being able to disassemble. Slur walker core meshing into terrain. Some issue with rupee weapon sticks. Netting issues for various structures. Sometimes going through things when climbing. Sometimes seeing wrong combat animations. Quality spots changing after server restarts. Quality state resetting to 0 on all foliage after reset. Quality on all resources now persist after restart. Improved performance around lakes. Improved clarity of some descriptions. Fixed a crash related to merchant interactions. Improved performance in a bunch of places. Fixed rupee camps allowing abusing rupee gel harvesting. Buying too many items from merchants. Vitamin merchants sometimes not buying. Large loot site chests not requiring hull breakers. Redwood trees not giving more wood with high tier tools. Incorrect repeater shooting trajectory. Wrong sell order max quality in UI. Slot auction not showing actual times. Building a ton of water bags close to each other. Building a ton of clan flags close to each other. Fixed some incorrect tech tree icons. Lava collecting sounds missing. Slow walker core being nettable. Getting high like planes by kicking with wingsuit. Chairs pushing players through walls. Gun pods meshing. Not being able to open doors while packing. Not being able to ungrapple while packing. Some more incorrect icons. Some issues with killing. Some issues with killing spawns. Some missing Nibirian ore on hard maps. Cluster bomb sounds making ears bleed. Improved gas bomb vitals. Optimization pass. Fixed missing textures on lumber mill. Rupee slings not working after being unpacked. Issues preventing player from reeling in and out cutting his grapple hook rope after receiving damage. Issues with guardrail structure part. Issues with Camelot Walker not pumping lava. Issues with ammo not being used on gun pods. Issue with ammo not being usable on gun pods. Firefly and Spider Walkers having some upgrades already crafted after being just built. Fix being able to grapple to some parts of bases and walkers' legs. Being able to bypass rupee turrets activation timer. Several texture issues with lakes on sleeping giant maps. Sandiness module calculation. Fog effects in pyramid POIs. Issues with walker packing compartment not allowing to pack small walkers. An exploit allowing to flip on top of the edge of the map. A crash related to bomb landing on structures. Improved sandstorm visual effects. Some issues with camera behavior inside trade station. Issues with camera behavior when climbing on structures, no longer clipping through them. Issues with shadows on specific materials on flags and cloth on walkers. Some issues with storage UI from proxy walkers. Some incorrect values on harvesting resources such as mushrooms, small rocks and more. Players being able to clip through walkers when being pushed by saw blades. Improper travel messages when walker is combat tagged. Dual knockouts disabling claim tax. Fixed gas mask. Improved climbing animations in general. Fixed several issues with Cobra Walker. Targeting issues and performance related ones. Several improvements to the POI spawning system. Harpoons get an optimization pass, which should help improve client performance during large battles. Improved rupee turret collisions. Fix some structures being able to push walkers as if they're weightless. Animation issue with advanced fiber working station. The first cutscene playing more than once. Temporarily removed defense tower. Fix being able to pull some harpoons from behind the door. Some fixes for walkers safe logout checks. Fixed respawn boost module max quantity. fixed various VoIP issues, fixed creative uses of javelins sometimes not dealing damage. This round of community questions will be a bit shorter, but we'll tackle more in the community devlog at the end of the month. Remember, check out our live FAQ to see all the past cure days we've done in this post, plus our Reddit AMA. I'll leave all the links in the description below. Why would you wipe the servers the day before the Shadowlands launch? It seemed like the best date for the beginning of a new season, while for some of you, understandably, might prefer to play Shadowlands. Our games are not related very closely, so we didn't want to disturb the wipe plans over it. Also, we still have some exciting things we want to bring in before the end of the year. Why rush the launch into Xbox? We mentioned that we wanted to bring the game to consoles even before early access release on Steam, so it wasn't a rushed decision. Since the premise of Last Oasis is the big living world where all Oasises are interconnected, we want to bring as many players as possible into it. Making it available on other platforms is a big step towards it. What about PlayStation? We're absolutely interested in bringing Last Oasis to PlayStation in the future. Right now though, we don't have an estimated for when that will happen. The main reason we chose Xbox as the first console to launch on is because we have game preview that's easy to work with. PlayStation doesn't have a convenient program for EA players, so it's more difficult. We also wanted to ensure availability for crossplay on every platform as soon as the game is available on them. Our intent is to bring every nomad together in the same world of Last Oasis. Who helped with Xbox port? You better not have taken devs away from working on the game to focus on this. We partnered with another team to make the export port happen, so none of the PC development plans were disturbed by it. As you've seen, we've maintained regular weekly patches together with large updates all this time. Still, we can guarantee that both versions will be fair and close to each other as possible. Since you're releasing on Xbox, are your plans to support Xbox controllers on the PC version? Yes. Controllers will be fully supported on PC alongside optional controller specific interface to make sure you have a smooth experience whatever controller you prefer. If we've already bought the game on Steam, will we have to buy it on Xbox again? Yes, however, if you simply prefer to play with a controller and already own the game on Steam, we'll have a full controller support available on Steam as well. How will Microsoft's certification progress for updating new games affect development? Will the devs be able to react quickly to bugs or unforeseen meta changes? Certification doesn't take months, as many seem to believe, so we don't expect any big changes in our development process. What it does mean is that we'll be putting more focus on our initial testing to make sure none of the updates have any immediate critical bugs on them. While all other adjustments and tweaks might be added afterwards, it shouldn't be a problem to add. Are you putting the game on sale? I want to buy it now that the wipe is happening. There's policies in place through Steam where we aren't able to announce sales date early, but you can check when sales happen in previous years to get a rough idea. And that's it for the Season 2 updates. Comment what you think about the changes and what other changes you'd like to see in the future. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. And for more coverage of updates, consider subscribing. That's all from me, Zensai.